And hello everyone, and welcome into another episode of Matt Sports Talk. And we will be, we will be recapping in this video the men's Crossroads League championship game that happened last night, and I'll be recording a video tomorrow recapping the women's championship game that will be taking place tonight. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. And then of course I'll be recording a video on Friday previewing all of the national tournament games with all of the Crossroads League schools being, or at least recording a video Friday previewing all of the national tournament games with all of the Crossroads League schools that will be into the national tournament, both on the men's side and the women's side. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. It should be really, really exciting. So without further ado, let's dive into the men's championship game last night. And for the Grace College Lancers, they came out victorious in this game by a final score of 80-72. And for the Lancers, they have won 4 straight Crossroads League championships, and that is the most out of any team. So the Lancers have made history with a 4-peat of the Crossroads League championship, and it's interesting with that 4-peat because the University of Oklahoma softball team achieved that last year with a 4-peat of winning the World Series National Championship. So that's obviously really exciting. And for the Lancers, they had a really good game last night, and for the Lancers, they won the game within the last 6 minutes. So looking at the stats, now for Grace, they outscored the Foresters by 13 points in the second half, and that made all of a difference. So looking at the stats first, for the visitors of Huntington University, it was the fifth-year senior grad transfer from Marian University, Max Gizzi. He had a really good game, 5 of 8 shooting from the floor with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Drew Goodline had an off-shooting game, just 4 of 13 from the floor and just 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. He was slightly better at the free throw line, though, at 1 for 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And the one player that lit it up for the Foresters was Lane Sparks, 11 of 22 shooting, 2 of 7 of that was from beyond the arc. 5 of 8 at the free throw line. He had 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 steals. Landon Jordan also had a good game, 2 of 4 shooting, 4 of 7 at the line. He had 3 rebounds and 1 block. And how about Jackson Paul? 3 of 8 shooting, 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. He had 1 rebound and 3 steals. And off the bench for the Foresters, Caden Johnson, 1 of 2 shooting in 18 minutes of action. He was a perfect 2 of 2 at the charity stripe. He had 3 rebounds as well. And then Cade Brenner in 12 minutes of action, 2 of 2 at the free throw line. He did not make a shot except at the charity stripe. He also had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And Roman Brewer in 7 minutes of action had 1 steal. And the Foresters didn't shoot bad from the field at 44. They were worse from 3 struggled from 3, I should say, at just 28%. And free throws were the big difference in this game. The Foresters 14 out of 22 at the charity stripe for just 63%. So if you take that away and you make all your free throws, you tie the game at 80 and send it to overtime. And now the last time these two teams met was in the regular season, and the Foresters squeaked out a 2-point upset win over the Lancers. So the Lancers returning the favor last night for the championship. But still, anytime Huntington and Grace play each other, it's always definitely going to be a good game. And looking at the stats for the Lancers, they had some really good stats. Ian Roush, 7 of 10 shooting from the floor, so really amazing to see that. He was a perfect 3 of 3 at the charity stripe. And now free throws were definitely Grace's strongest suit last night, but for Roush, 7 of 10 shooting, 3 of 3 at the line, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Bryson Graber, 2 of 5 shooting, 1 of 4 of that was from beyond the arc. He was a perfect 2 of 2 at the free throw line with 1 assist and 2 steals. And Ian Scott had a really good game, 6 of 11 shooting, a perfect 8 for 8 at the free throw line. He had 7 rebounds and 3 assists. And Brett Sikafus, 3 of 5 shooting from the floor. 1 of 3 of that was from beyond the arc. He had 3 rebounds and 2 assists. And Gage Sefton, 4 of 5 shooting from the floor. 1 of 2 of that was from beyond the arc. And along with Scott, Sefton was a perfect 8 of 8 from the free throw line with 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So really, really good statistics there. And then off the bench, Carter Stolfuss, 2 of 4 shooting, 2 of 4 at the charity stripe, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. In 18 minutes of action, Justin DeGraff, 1 of 3 shooting. He was a perfect 2 of 2 at the line with 5 rebounds and 1 block. And in 10 minutes of action, Hunter Walston was 1 of 3 shooting. And for the Lancers, they shot 56% from the field, so better than Huntington's 44%. The Lancers, though, were worse from 3 at 20%, converting just 3 of 15 attempts. The Foresters converted 6 out of 21 from beyond the arc for 28%, so the Foresters slightly better from 3, albeit by not a lot. But the strongest suit for the Lancers, they only missed 2 free throws. They converted 25 out of 27 at charity stripe for 92.6%. And that obviously was the difference in that one. And that was your matchup there. And the last matchup, I should say, because that was the championship game, so there was only one game to recap. And now we turn our attention to the national tournament. Now, the men's selection show is going to be Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So looking at the overall standings for the teams that have punched their ticket into the national tournament, starting first with St. Francis, they enter the national tournament field at 17-12. Indiana Wesleyan at 21-9. Spring Arbor at 19-10. Huntington at 24-7. Bethel at 22-8, and then Grace at 26-5. Now for Grace, they have already been selected to host the opening round matchups coming up next weekend, March 14th and 15th. And for the Bethel Pilots, we're not quite sure where they're going to go, but they have punched their ticket into the tournament as the regular season runners-up in the Crossroads League. And then for the Foresters, they will get one of the at-large bids out of the Crossroads League, and then the other at-large bids will be Spring Arbor, Indiana Wesleyan, and St. Francis. And that will be your national tournament field on the men's side. And then, of course, I will be recording a women's video tomorrow recapping the championship game that's happening tonight. And now looking at the women's standings just briefly, teams that are definitely locked into the national tournament. Indiana Wesleyan, currently 28-2. They will enter the national tournament field either 28-3 or 29-2. The Marion Knights will enter the national tournament at either 25-6 or 24-7. And for the Cougars of St. Francis out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, they will enter the national tournament at 26-4, and they will be a host site up in Fort Wayne, so really, really impressive to see that, and really well-deserved as well. And then for the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan, they have been selected to host, so they will be hosting the opening round matchups coming up next weekend. And the Marion Knights, we're not quite sure yet. And then the two teams on the bubble in the Crossroads League, Spring Arbor at 19-11, and Huntington at 17-12. And talking real quickly about that, in my personal, and again, I'm not trying to be biased, but in my personal opinion, I think I think 3 teams that it could come down to determine the final at-large bid. Now remember, the national tournament, there's 35 automatic bids and 29 at-large bids, and really based out of a little bit of homework that I have done, my prediction is that the 29th and final at-large spot will all come down to either Huntington out of the Crossroads League, the Huntington Foresters, the Spring Arbor Cougars, also out of the Crossroads League, and the Northwestern College out of Orange City, Iowa. They are the Red Raiders. I think those are the 3 teams that it's going to come down to for that final 29th at-large bid spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. And of course, obviously, nothing's guaranteed, but we will know all of those answers to those questions Thursday night at 7 p.m. And with that, that is an updated view of all of the, that's an updated view of the potential national tournament field, or I shouldn't say potential, but a quick updated view of the women's national tournament field out of the Crossroads League, as well as the potential at-large bids there, and then And then I mentioned earlier in the video and really focused on the men's national tournament field and these and 6 out of 10 Crossroads League schools that will be in the national tournament. And of course, we'll know who all those teams will play and where they will play Thursday night at 8 p.m. when that selection show is announced. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and really over the last month, I thank you so much for tuning into all of these recap videos. Again, there's going to be one more coming your way tomorrow for the women's recap of the championship game tonight, and then of course previewing all of the national tournament matchups, where teams are going to be headed. That will be coming your way on Friday, so I hope that you will stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos, and it's been a lot of fun doing them. And obviously, I'm not done with those yet. We still have at least 2 more of these videos coming your way, and then of course once the national tournament is over, when all of the Crossroads League teams once they are out of the national tournament, of course I'll be recapping those games in brief detail and talking about where they finished and well, not finished, but talking about the final look at the statistics for the Crossroads League, especially on the I'll do the men and women. I'll utilize my Spotify podcast forum for that, talking about the offensive leaders per game for both men and the women. So you want to stay tuned for that, and that will be coming your way toward the very end of this month. So again, thank you so much for tuning into these videos. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and God bless.